say for those of us that miss Sunday in America, this is the only Sunday in Israel. Election day.
It's 4 years over.
There you go.
6 months.
Okay, we're learning about Chochma. Not Chochma of how to be smart, but the sphere of Chochma. Keser, Chochma, Bina, the misunderstood, ununderstood, mysterious spheros that are above those that we can grasp. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Leidusay, Malchus, those we can grasp. We talk about it, but spheros, I remember. But Chochma is above that. And just to bring us, to remind you that Chochma, it's important to understand that Chochma, certainly Chochma in the Olam Oisel Yonim is not talking about being smart. Not talking, that's not what it means. Chochma is the kind of creative male energy, Kabbalistically, which starts the world. It's to start from somewhere. Right? And it starts with Chochma. Bina is that which is Makabel that and gives it form. So how that works in our world has to do with a creative idea and then cultivating the idea, etc. But we're not talking about our world. We're talking about Hashem's world. So it's not yet called. It's not yet IQ. It doesn't yet come to the being a sage. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Chacham on a higher level, and then for us to emulate Hashem with Chachma. So again, it means that we should have Chachma clearly, but it also means much more, and that's what we're learning. And we learn different ways, different aspects of Hashem's Chachma that are important that we can do. One thing we learned is that, when it comes to Hashem's Marabu Masecha, Hashem Kulam B'Chachma Asisa, Hashem makes everything with Chachma. Again, it's not that everything's made smart, like you have a smartphone, smart house, Hashem made a smart world. That's not what it means. It is a smart world, but that's not what it means. Kulam B'Chachma, he says you made it with Chachma. There's a current called Chachma, and Hashem made the world with Chachma. There's an ingredient called Chochma. It's not an adjective. It's a noun. All right. Kulam b'chachma sisei, made it with Chochma, with this energy called Chochma. And when he made it, one of the things we learned is that he puts the right amount of energy in every place. Like you think if you have a plant, you have to water the plant. So you water the plant grows. There's it grew, so I'll put out more water, and more water until you kill the plant. I tend to do this. Over a little bit of water is good. A lot of water is the Kavachom good. So just keep the hose there all the time. Like you have a good tree. No, you drown the plant and you die. So Kulam b'chachma sisas, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows how to put the right amount of chachma exactly where it is. I don't know what that means on a Shemayim level, but on our level, what the Tomer Devorah teaches us is that when you're helping people or you're giving something over, it's not always good to be overwhelmingly generous. You have to give each person what they need. Let's think about it just to make it easier for us, although I'm admitting this limits the concept. Let's think of ourselves as like a Rebbe, like a Rebbe, an 8th grade Rebbe. At an 8th grade Rebbe, what's important to understand is, okay, I want to be like Hashem. I want to emulate Hashem. So I'm giving over Chachma to these children. What's important is, you think, well, a little bit of Chachma is good, so a lot of Chachma is very good. No, it could be a lot of Chachma is not good. Like you don't teach Kabbalah to 8th graders. Why not? They'll become more spiritual. Because if you don't have the Kli, if you don't have the Kli for the Chachma, so then it's just going to overflow from the Chachma. So the first thing that he said about Chochma is that it has to be given with an eyedropper. It has to. What was it called? Eyedropper. A dropper. Exactly the right amount. The other thing we learned about Chochma was that Chochma, since it's a thing unto itself, it has a value unto itself. So we were talking about machshava tov mitzaref l'maisa. There's such a thing as just a good thought. is already something. If you learn that Chochma is something, a way of doing something, so do it with Chochma, right? Do it with Chochma needs a Maisa. Do it with Chochma, you need a Maisa. If you learn that Chochma is a davar b'fnei atzmai, so that you don't need a Maisa. The machshava toiv mitzdaref l'maisa. It is a Maisa. The fact that I'm thinking a good thing, that's already something. Even if I don't end up doing anything, it's already something. Just to have a machshava toiva is a good thing. And in Tomer Devorah language, if I have a machshava about another person, so that in itself accomplishes something. Daven for somebody, but even davening is too much of a Maisa. Just thinking about somebody, thinking good things. You're doing something, Maisa. You wrote me an email that sometimes he's a psychologist. You say to a client, I was thinking about you. Whoa, you were? Like the machshava itself has a koach. Well, why don't you call me if you were thinking about it? That's what people always say to me. I don't know about you, but what were you thinking? But machshava itself has a koach. Okay, and now what we're going to learn now, v'oid. Take a look at the term. There are three simple lines. Let's try to see if we can.
Where are we?
Parak Shlishi. V'od.
The Rav should tell them they're thinking, that's what we call.
Huh?
The Rav Fenza.
Machshava is very strong, by the way. Very strong koach, machshava. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but you find it a lot in you find it a lot in Yanim of Shalom Bayis. That let's say your wife gets angry at you. You say, I didn't say anything. I know what you're thinking. And the problem with that is she does. He's right.
No.
Even if you deny it, it's there. It's true. Right.
You're going to think it.
Right. But so furthermore, another aspect of Chochma is ha-Chochma machaye hakol. This is mamish exciting to me. Chochma farzich, the Chochma to itself, machaye hakol. It gives life to everything. Kidduchsiv, as it says in the pasuk, v'ha-Chochma techaye v'aleha. V'ha-Chochma techaye v'aleha. I don't think it says that in the pasuk. It says ha-Chochma techaye v'aleha. The Chochma gives a person chiyus. Kach yehu mayr chayim l'chol ha'olam. So too I should give people chiyus with my Chochma. I don't think this means that you should be stating your opinion everywhere you go. I don't think that's what it means. But it means that somehow or another, because again, let's leave the idea of Chochma as just plain being smart, but somehow or another I can give chiyus to people through my machshava of thinking about them. So that's Chochma techayes bala. So let's just give me a minute to analyze this, because I gave this some thought. The pasuk is a pasuk you're familiar with. The pasuk that this comes from is from Koheles. Ki b'tzel ha-Chochma, b'tzel ha-kesef, v'yisrain ha-Chochma min ha-kesef. Yisrain das ha-Chochma, ki ha-Chochma techayes baleha. That's why it doesn't say v'ha-Chochma, ki ha-Chochma techayes baleha. So let's just translate. B'tzel ha-Chochma, b'tzel ha-kesef. V'yisrain das ha-Chochma, ki ha-Chochma techayes baleha. So b'tzel in this pasuk, what does b'tzel mean? Don't be afraid. Yeah. Shadow. Wrong.
Yeah. You tricked us. Yeah.
It's all part of the. Tzel in this pasuk means
coverage.
What'd you say?
Like coverage, being under constellation.
Shelter.
Shelter.
Shelter. There's a shelter of Chochma and there's a shelter of Kesef. If you're in trouble, you can run into one of two shelters. Shlomo HaMelech says. You could run into a shelter of Chochma, or you could run into the shelter of Kesef. Rabbi Avram is right that if you're stuck in the sun and you're suffering, you look for shade. Shade is your shelter. So that's just one type of shelter, shade. But if you get into the real word, Sel HaChochma is Hatzlacha Ma. If you turn around the letters. How do I have Hatzlacha? So the Hatzlacha Ma. That's so B'tzel HaChochma. So the Pasuk shot in the Pasuk is, I could run into two shelters. I could run into a shelter of Chochma. I could run into a shelter, I'm in trouble. I could look for Chochma, or I could look for Kesef. Neither one of them is bad. Shlomo HaMelech is not knocking either one of them. They're both necessary things that you need to do. But, Yisrael Chochma v'das, there's an advantage, Das Chochma, is an advantage to running into the shelter of Chochma, Ki HaChochma techayes baleha. Because Chochma has this added advantage that it's techayes baleha. Let's start from the Pashup shot and get to a deeper shot. But you know, everyone knows the famous story of Reichman and Rav Sternbach. You know the famous story. There's a famous story that during the time of, what's Kedai to say over the story, like a real story, the time of in England, at the time of Rav Moshe Schneider's yeshiva, that was the yeshiva in England during the Blitzkrieg. Bombs, it was terrible. I mean, you know, it's not like here that bombs fall, nothing happens. That was Chutz La'aretz. So bombs fell, thousands of people died in the Blitzkrieg. Germany bombing England, and Rav Moshe Schneider had a yeshiva with a few bachrim, chashuva bachrim, and they learned Torah, but there was no supplies. There was nothing was around. So they didn't have any money. So there was a baker that said, I'm willing to donate bread to the yeshiva. Yesterday's bread to the yeshiva, whatever left over, I give to the yeshiva, which was a magnanimous offer. Let the yeshiva keep going. But it was on the other side of the town of where the yeshiva was. So to go to another side of the town during the Blitzkrieg was an extremely dangerous thing. So he asked for a volunteer. So Reb Moshe Reichman, who became Reb Moshe Reichman, was a bacher in the yeshiva, and he said, I volunteered to go get the bread. At the same time, there was also an issue of accompanying the younger Talmidim through the Blitzkrieg to come to the yeshiva from wherever it was that they were staying. There was no dormitory. So he said he needs a volunteer to go around and just bring the kids to yeshivas or high school. So Rav Moshe Sternbach, Shlita, was at the yeshiva also. He said, I volunteer, I'll do that. So at the end of the whole thing, he brought the bread and he brought the kids. So at the end of all that, Rav Moshe Schneider, who was a great Rosh Yeshiva, Tzaddik, he said that I know a lot about Rav Moshe Schneider because I was very close to Rabbi Friedler, all of a shalom. And when he was in Toronto, I was in Buffalo, very close. He was my Rebbe then. So he was talking about Rav Moshe Schneider all the time. He told me the story actually before Pesach Krog. He told me the story, and so Rav Moshe Schneider said that that he who brought the bread, I gave him a bracha that he should be able to give bread to all of Klal Yisrael, that he should become. And $12 billion later, so this bracha was B'koyim. And he who brought the Talmidim, I give him a bracha that he should be Zelcha to teach Torah to all of Klal Yisrael. Right, many Svarim would be at Rosh Hashanah. I think 70 Svarim or 75 Svarim later. And the head of the Badatz at Rosh Hashanah. So when Pesach Krod, Rabbi Pesach Krod heard the story, he checks every story carefully before he puts it in. It was just a Gavaldic story. So he went to Mr. Reichman. He said, "Is the story true?" So Reichman said, "The story is true, but if I would have known at the beginning what the bracha would be, I would have volunteered to get the kids and not to get the bread." So B'tzel HaChochma, B'tzel HaKesef. There's two ways to go. I mean, how many people would give up $12 billion and the ability to give hundreds of millions of dollars to tzedakah? Probably at that time the biggest community, the biggest tzedakah in history, probably, in terms of quantity of money. How many people would give up that to have the Torah of an Adam Gadol? You don't have to answer. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know, because if you think to yourself, well, look how many Talmidei Chacham I could support. Look how many yeshivas I could support. Look how many kollel I could support. But I once heard, I don't give, we're all out there doing what we can to make a living and everything. I'm not criticizing anybody, but I'm just saying it's like an interesting thing to keep in perspective. That I once heard somebody say to Rav Steinberg, because he was always got to learn, kollel learn. So somebody said, and what's so bad? If I'm making a lot of money and I'm supporting a Talmid Chacham, or I'm supporting 10 Talmidei Chacham, or I'm supporting 500 Talmid, what's so bad? It's just so bad. It's a wonderful thing. In fact, Yoishev b'Mechitzah, you're actually sitting in the Mechitzah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of this, and Mechitzah Rashi says you're going to sit in this Talmid Chacham's Mechitzah, Olam Haba. He says, but the question is, are you supporting 1,000 Talmidei Chachamim, or are you creating a situation where there's 1,001 Talmidei Chachamim? In other words, like he could be that Talmid Chacham, so that's a different kind of an or. So, okay, Shneim Tovim. But B'tzel HaChochma, B'tzel HaKesef. If you have to try to be Mashallah. I know that Rabbi Cutler, Olav Shalom, said a chiddush. He said that Yisachar Zavulun, so Yisachar Zavulun is a partnership, right? So Yisachar is sitting and learning, and Zavulun is supporting him. And that's the way the Torah decided it should be. There should be people learning, and there should be people supporting them. I'm sure that the Zavuluners learned, but their ikar was to support Yisachar. V'yichalek b'scharim, and they both get the schar. By the way, we're not talking about give $18 to. We're talking about Yisachar's Zavulun. I take half of my income and I give it to Talmud. Half. I'm a partner. A partner is a partner. So if I'm an equal partner, so I take half of the money that I have that Hashem gave me in business, and I give it to a Talmid Chacham. But he takes half of his learning and he gives it to me. So this is partnership. This is not give tzedakah. This is partnership. In fact, as something Yibrei Bina says that you're not even yotzei the mitzvah tzedakah with Yisachar Zvulun, because that's not tzedakah, that's business. It's you're Yisachar Zvulun. You're buying something. You're being wished out of. It's kind of a silent partner. I'm not sure which is the silent one, but you're a silent partner. Also on the part of the person who's learning. I mean, you better really learn. You better produce. You better really be there. But Rabar's chiddush was two things. One is that it has to be a real partnership. And then if it is a real partnership, in Shamayim, you will know all the Torah that you're, the person you're supporting. That's what Rabbi Cutler said. Now, he was a big learn Torah. But he said, you will actually know the Torah, it'll come to you. But that's in that world. In this world, so, not so much. So this is the Pasuk Shad in the Pasuk here, B'tzel HaChochma, B'tzel HaKesef, that's the Pasuk of Pshat in the Pasuk. It seems to me that the Pasuk is saying something which is yet deeper. That why is Chochma better? Because it's Techayas Baleha. Techayas Baleha means that if, for instance, you're in hard times, and I give you kesef, so that's wonderful. I mean, it's like so you give somebody kesef, but the kesef is here today, can be gone tomorrow. It's not something which is intrinsic to who I am and what I am. I don't become. When we always say, a person becomes a very wealthy person, we say, well, he's the same person that he was before. That means to say that he didn't get ruined because of the money. We don't look at money as a positive thing. Money is something that ruins somebody. Baruch Hashem, this guy didn't get ruined. He's the same person because I don't need to explain to you but it's something which is chitzoni to the person. Whereas if I give a person chochma, and with that chochma, I would say that I would say that you could give a person a fish, you could teach him how to fish, but I don't want to say that because that's a quote from the New Testament, but probably came from, I think it was Peter chapter 6, I think. But I'm sure it came from Chazal. The concept, I'm sure, came from Chazal that like you could give a person something which is going to be here, where you can give him chachma and he'll get his own fish. But this is much deeper than that. This is that when I'm giving you kesef, so I'm giving you something which is chutz mibeka. It's something you can use. But if I'm giving you chachma techayes baleha. The chachma actually changes the person. It's not just that now I can catch a lot of fish. It's deeper than that. The chachma actually changes the person. So when a Kadosh Baruch Hu, this is I think what Shlomo HaMelech was saying, you see in the everybody knows this, but let's do Chazar. In the beginning of Malachim, it talks about where David HaMelech was nifter. That's Parak Aleph and Parak Beis. And then Shlomo HaMelech became the king of Israel. He was young. Some say 12. But he already had a son, Yeravam. But anyway, so when he became the Melech Yisrael, this was big. And he said, "Vayomer Shlomo ato asisatash." He had a dream. Vayel Shlomo es Hashem lalechas v'chukos David Aviv. Vayelech hamelech kivoyna lizboyach sham ki hi habama hagadola elef oilos yala Shlomo al mizbeach. Big tekes for the fact that he became the king of Israel and he was celebrating Hashem. Begivon nira Hashem el Shlomo b'chaloim halayla. He had a dream. Vayomer Elokim, and in the dream Hashem said to him, Sha'al, ask, ma'atzein loch, and I will give you. Ask, and I will give you. This was a great moment of becoming the Melech Yisrael, moment of siyata d'shmaya, and in the siyata d'shmaya you can shtel your malchus right now, and what do you want? Vayomer Shlomo, in the dream. Ata asisei mavdecha David avi chassid gadol kasher halach lefanecha b'emes u'v'tzedakah v'yirshas levav imach. Such a beautiful son's endorsement to his father. You know, my father went with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, David. Everything was chesed gadol, everything was emes and tzedakah and yishras halev. Tishmer lo yisach chesed hagadol hazeh, and you keep on doing chesed with him. Titin lo bein, by giving him me. Now he has a son which is going to continue his malchus. Yoshev al kisek hayem hazeh. Ata Hashem Elokai. Ata himlachtas avdecha. You made me into the king tachas David Avi to succeed my father David. V'anoichi nar katoin. I'm just a young guy. Lo edat seisu v'echleis gurnish. Ve'avdecha b'seichamcha asher b'charta. And yet you've given me a people which is am rav. Asher lo yimaneh. You can't even count them. V'lo yisafar mirag. Millions of people in Klal Yisrael at that time. So he said, "V'nasato la'avdecha, please give your eved leiv shemeya lishpaitas amcha lahavin bein toiv l'ra ki mi yuchal lishpaitas amcha kavod hazeh." Give me the chachma to be the king. That's what he asked Hashem for in the dream. Vayitav hadavar b'einei Hashem ki shal Shlomo es hadavar hazeh. Hashem was happy with this. I'm not sure if the dream is over. I don't know. Vayomer Elokim love. In other words, I don't know if this happened in the dream or out of the dream, but either way it happened. Vayomer Elokim love yana asher shaltos hadavar hazeh. You asked for Chochma. V'loi sha'alta l'cha yamim rabim, you could have asked for arichas yamim. V'loi sha'alta l'cha oisher, you could have asked for oisher, money. V'loi sha'alta nefesh avecha, and you could have asked for victory. V'sha'alta l'cha havmin l'shmaya mishpa, what did you ask for? You asked for Chochma. Hine asisi k'dvarach, you asked the right thing. You see, he must have been a Chacham before. Right? I mean, like... So the pshat is that Eina Kadosh Baruch Hu lo yisei chachma el v'sheyesh bo chachma. You have to have. Shalta chahavi l'shmei b'shvat. Hidei asisi kidvarach. I'm going to do what you asked. Hidei lasati l'chalev chacham v'navayin. You're going now to be smart, a chacham navayin. Asher kamoicha lo yhaya lefanecha v'achrecha lo yakum kamecha. that there was never such a Chacham like you, not Avram, not Yitzchak, not Moshe, you, not David, you're the biggest Chacham in history, and there will never be another Chacham like Shlomo HaMelech. The ultimate in wisdom is called Solomonic wisdom. V'gam asher lo sho'alta, and also what you didn't ask, Nasati lach, I'm going to give you that too. Gam oisher, gam kavod. I'll give you oisher, I'll give you kavod. Asher lo haya kamaycha ish b'mlachim kol yamecha. You will be the richest king. That's amazing, because we know some pretty rich kings. But he was a pretty rich king, but he was more than Parai, and more than Menashe, and more than Chizkiyahu. Shlomo HaMelech had the biggest riches of the world. Basically, controlled the economy. He controlled the world economy. Shlomo HaMelech, if you read on in Sefer Melachim. So he had here a choice of asking for, what do you want to ask for? So he could have asked for Chochma, or he could have asked for Oisher v'Chavod v'Nitzachai, and he chose to ask for Chochma, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu endorsed that decision. But because he asked for Chochma, he gave him Oisher. Like that's interesting. But then he says, "V'imtelach b'drachai lishmar chukai u'mitzvosai kasher halach David avicha." As long as you stay straight, like David HaMelech, v'harachti es yamecha, I will give you arichas yamim. So it's interesting that in the Chochma there is no tzedai, but in the arichas yamim and in the ashiras there is a tzedai, providing that you're a good king. So what's the pshat? Why is there a tzedai here, not a tzedai there? The answer is because Chochma techayes baleha. When I have Chochma, the Chochma is mine. You see this. When an usher, I've seen this myself. An usher, even an usher muflag, loses his money. God forbid. Even about tzedakah muflag, he loses his money. You know, like Kimat, nobody pays attention to you anymore. In fact, people stay away from you. It's so interesting to see. But by a chacham that loses chas v'sholom his chachma, so it's the same thing. Maybe people are not asking you questions, but luchais v'shivrei luchais menachem ba'ar nachas. We don't find this with skyscrapers. That skyscrapers, v'shivrei skyscrapers menachem ba'ar nachas. You got the skyscraper? I have covered. You don't have the skyscraper? I don't have covered. So it's not just a matter of olam haz olam haba. Chochma techayes baleha. Chochma changes the person legamri. You're a completely different person, and that's called chiyus. So now so HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes from his Chochma and gives it to the world. Means that not only do I give you things, he could just give us things. Like so things. We have money, we have food, we have houses. He just give us things, but he doesn't give us things. He gives us things, but he gives us Chochma. So this is a different madrega of the Matnas Halakim, that not only is he giving us things, but he's giving us Chochma. I don't know, like if rabbits have Chochma. I mean, they have some Chochma, because Marabu Masach Hashem Kulam B'Chochma Sisa. But they have Chochma to get their things. In other words, they know how to. I mean, you watch the cats. They know what to do. They know how to. They know how to get food. They know what to do. They know how to have children. They know how to. They somehow know what to do. Kula b'chachma asisa. They know what to do. I don't know what their IQ is, but they know what to do. But
is that a conscious thing that they're thinking?
It's a very small level of chachma.
Instinct,
yeah. A very small level of chachma. But to us, he gave real chachma. So real chachma means we have bechira chavshis. So understand, bechira chavshis is bardik. Bechira chavshis is not like a handicap. Oh, I have a yitzhara. That's chachma. That's the chachma, because if you choose to do something that's very, very strong, and that's what's mechaya es baleha.
We understand on our level, because we could give instinct to the animals, we in the sense just to give it, which helps them survive. So
Right.
saying when our level, the Chochma is just our better instinct.
Because we could do more than cats.
It's just a different level of instinct.
But we could do more than cats. In other words, besides for, like, let's say having children, we could have shalom bayis. Yeah, we could bring two neshamas together. I don't know if the cats are doing that.
So it's a better.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Maybe there's two neshamas and cats too. But I don't know. I don't know, like, there's two halves of a neshama of a cat that are in Shemayim coming from Atzilus to Bria Yitzhak, and boom, there's those cats. I there's something there's something very very special about the Chochma that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. So I want to finish like this. That what's the Tomer Devorah works like this. This is what Hashem does. This is what we do. So Hashem gives us Chochma. Kol HaKavod. We have Chochma. Mamish, we have Chochma. Akula b'Chochma asisa. Now what we have to do is also the Chochma that Hashem gives us is better than giving us. I want to now just to bisikum translate. Ki b'tzel ha-Chochma b'tzel ha-Kesef. That Chochma is intrinsic and Kesef is extrinsic. What is pnimi? What is chitzoni? Now, when we are now meant to emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so we're giving our Chochma to our world. The words of the Tomer Devorah, Kach yehu Moira, not Chochma, but in Chochma, Moira chayim l'chol ha'olam, v'goyrem lechem, v'goyrem lahem chaye ha'olam hazeh, v'chaye ha'olam haba, u'mamsi lahem chayim zeh klal, yenovea chayim l'kol. The Tomer Devorah somehow switches when we're not looking from talking about Chochma to talking about chayim. So we have to give life to everybody around us. So I'll say something a little bit cynical. Like, when somebody's in trouble and we can help them, and our own children, our own family, employees, we can help them. We have two choices. We can give them things, and that's very beautiful. Okay, no problem. I buy you a car. No problem. Here's food. Here's an airplane ticket. I'm giving you things. Kesef. Or I could give you Chochma. If I give you things, there's a form of, this is the cynical part, it's a form of control. La'ani is daiti. If I give you Chochma, it's a form of liberation. If I give you things, I know those things are going to run out, you're going to come back to me for more, and I have some control over what I'm giving you. If I say, here's how you do this. Here's what you do. I'm not saying you shouldn't give the things. I'm just saying that b'tzel ha-Chochma, b'tzel ha-Kesef. If you give somebody Chochma, somebody you love Chochma, so what you're doing is ha-Chochma techayes balel. Let me give you the secrets of chiyus, so that you are independent. You're truly free. Then you're a mensch. You're not a schnorr. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let's go back to God for a second. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us Chochma. It's not supposed to be. We ate from the Eitz Hadas. That was like some kind of a bad thing. It's not supposed to be. Let HaKadosh Baruch Hu have the Chochma, and we have the things. So that's true with Malachim. They just have things, they have a lot of things, whatever they need. Malach, like unbelievable, Malach Rafal can heal people, and Malach Gavril Malach Hamavas can kill people. I mean, they're tremendous things, tremendous koch that they have, but it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kayach. Whereas when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so he gave us, he didn't give us things, he gave us Chochma. Shlomo HaMelech teaches us, and with this Chochma we have Bechir Chavshus, and then we have things. So there's a piece in between, which is a liberating piece. It's empowering. HaKadosh Baruch Hu empowers us. So if we take the emulation aspect that we're supposed to be emulating, we're meant to be emulating HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So yes, give tzedakah and have things, but empower everybody around you. Imagine, think about how strong that is. Empower everybody around you. If you empower your children, you empower your talmidim, you empower your employees, empower your bosses, empower people. If you empower your friends, so now everybody around, now it's fair to do that because it means you lose control. And what am I going to do with their lie? So that's okay because HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps with that one also. It's not a problem. Just teach everybody how to be chashuv, So if you have to give them things, give them things, but don't hold back on the real koach of Bechira Chavshis, of the koach of Bechira Chavshis. So just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us Bechira Chavshis, we have to give everyone around us this kind of Bechira Chavshis. V'limtza, says the Tomer Devorah, and it comes out, Monsey lahem chayim. It all comes out, you're giving out life. HaChochma techaye es balel. Chochma chiyus goes together. HaChochma techaye es balel means you are now not giving out Chochma, you have actually given out life. You are making people alive. They're not robotic, they're not digital, they're people. And if you make somebody into a mensch, you make somebody into somebody who makes choices, somebody who has authority, then you've given them life. That's the chiyus that we can give people. Yeh novea zeh haklal of Chochma, yeh novea chayim lakol. Not just live and let live, but live and give that, and give the living and the life to everybody. Novea chayim lakol.